Darlenes. Welcome to another video. This time I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to talk about the other car in my garage, which is my wife's car. And it is I think a beautiful 2005 Audi A4 Avant with the Ultra Sport package. We are the original owners of this car. We bought this car when we lived in California way back in 2005. So we've had this car for quite some time and we've been incredibly happy with it. This car has about 76,000 miles on it and they've all been happy miles. What makes this car unique? Well, this car, it is a Ultra Sport package model. And what does that mean? It has everything, just about everything that the Audi S4 of that time had regarding the suspension and body panels. What it does not have is the big engine of the Audi S4, but it has the lowered suspension, the more aggressive wheel and tire setup. It has things like, body colored skirts, as well as the more aggressive chin spoiler. It has the blacked out trim around the door and of course blacked out roof rails, as well as like a spoiler in the back and dual exhaust out of the back as well. In addition, the Ultra Sport package comes with some changes to the interior that we enjoy as well. Perforated steering wheel, anodized metallic looking trim, and it's on overall a really nice place to be. This car is wired for satellite radio, but does not have a navigation built in. We did not opt for that. Dual climate control, heated seats. As you can see, there's a little bit of wear over time. Obviously the driver's seat gets used the most, but for the most part the leather has held up pretty well. There's the big star of the car, 6-speed manual transmission in a station wagon. That's pretty awesome. Oddly enough, the only seat that's power is the driver's seat. The passenger seat is manual only. This A4 is a lot smaller than the current day A4s, but there is a decent amount of room in the back seat for adults. I'm 6'3", and if I'm the driver, I have to move the seat forward to make a little bit of room for adults in the back, but it's pretty livable space. Well, it's a fun car to drive. It's a little underpowered. It only has a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, so it doesn't have a lot of power, 170 horsepower. But with the Ultra Sport suspension package, it can really handle the curves and country roads quite well. When we purchased this car, we lived in California, and the roads in California are fantastic. The canyon roads are great, and the roads tend to be really smooth compared to the Northeast where we are now. And it came with Sport Contact Continental summer tires. Have changed out the Sport Contact tires for these Bridgestone Blizzaks, so we're all ready for the winter. This car has 4-wheel drive. It handles the snow fantastically, even though the whole car is lowered down a little bit. This is our day-to-day go-to car for just about all the errands and all the things we have to do. The reason why we're holding on to this wagon is it's great and we love it. It's so reliable, but also we have 2 small dogs, and we can pop the trunk, throw the dogs in the back, and they can go and travel with us wherever we decide to go. So we enjoy that. We also enjoy the lower center of gravity that a station wagon provides you, which is a different experience from a crossover or an SUV. The trend now is, I don't want to overgeneralize, so this is not every person, but I've heard that many women in particular enjoy SUVs because it sits them up high on the road. They get a good perspective of the road, and that's probably true for men too, so I don't want to sound gender biased, but this is my wife's car. This is her car, and she prefers this lower center of gravity, yet the car doesn't feel too small. It's just the right size for her. She is 5'3", so she's not a tall woman, so she likes the lower kind of more intimate feel that this A4 Avant gives her, as opposed to the current offerings out there now, which they make some pretty small crossover SUVs. She just prefers the way this car feels and drives. The other thing that she enjoys, as well as I, is a 6-speed manual transmission. And that's a rare thing to have nowadays in any car, really, much less a 4-door wagon. And that's probably what makes this car a lot of fun to drive, even though it only has 170 horsepower. You can roll the gears, you can get the revs up, you can get the speed you need, and it's helpful to have that 6-speed manual in this car. You know, for pure out and out speed, we still have the, you know, Porsche 911. It's still a lot of fun, but we really, my wife and I really enjoy this Audi A4 Avant, and we enjoyed putting every bit of the 76,000 miles we have on it so far, and plan to put on many more miles. All right, guys, you've heard me talk about the car, so now I wanted to invite my wife, Darlene, to speak about the car directly, since she's the primary owner of this car. Now notice I said here because she doesn't want to be on camera. Maybe one of these days I'll get her on camera. Nonetheless, I wanted you to hear what she had to say about this car.
Things that I look for, I have to have a stick. And I know that out the gate, they're few and far between now. Finding a stick was almost impossible. And what I really like about this car, it handles really well. There's a lot of space in the passenger area.
Yeah.
We've had like 5 adults in the car, and no one was, you know, get off my leg, get off my arm. You feel very comfortable to where you could be in the car for several hours with 5 adults. I like the feel of my car inside. And
what do you mean by the feel?
Well, from the steering wheel, this perforated, which I guess was a part of the sports package.
Yes.
From the outside, working inside, I am a real person. What I notice about cars now, and it's what I like about my car. Audi does a really nice job with putting everything together, and from the outside to the inside.
Yes, that whole design aesthetic.
Yes.
Is really clean.
Yes, it's a clean look.
Not flashy, but still attractive, and it looks upscale, but not boring.
Like you can tell they pay attention to detail.
Yeah.
Like
even how everything feels on the interior, how it all fits together that way is really nice.
And I'm listening to the two of us talk. You would think this is a brand new car. This is a 2005, and everything still wows us about the detail.
And speaking of the detail, I think it's important that after all this time, all the switches still have a click about them. Everything still feels like it's tight and firm when you touch it. As far as the switch gear goes, you know, everything feels good to the...
I love a station wagon. And then the other thing is, because we have 2 boys who are dogs.
We call our dogs the boys.
The boys. We need space for them. We travel with them, like to visit our parents, and that trip is usually like a 4-hour trip, and we did not want them on top of each other, and we don't want them in the space right behind us, and it's a nice size. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I came out from the grocery store, and there was a gentleman taking pictures of my car, and he was really focused on that cargo area. And when I came out, I said, "Is there something I can help you with?" And he said, "Is this your car?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I was admiring how nice it looks on the outside, but I'm in the market for a new car, and I have a dog, and that spacing back there is very important." And I said, "Been there, done it." And
you tell me lots of car guys.
Absolutely.
you know, staring at this car?
They stare at it. They stare at the car, and ask, where did I get it? Because I don't see many of these on the road.
That's right.
And when they find out that it's a stick shift, they're like blown away. When I take my car to the dealership, they are standing in line waiting for me to say, I want a new car, not just to be selling me a new car, because that's not even the salespeople that I'm talking to. It's the everyday guy at the dealership that just loves the fact that this is a stick shift and the way that it's been maintained, but just the look of this car. And you have to remember, this car is not sold here anymore. I think I've seen one or two of this model car since I purchased it.
Yeah, what do you think about the ride?
The ride is really nice. Now, as you guys probably know, I have the winter and the summer tires. The only time that I do not like the ride is when I switch to the summer tires. I just feel like I feel everything, and I just cannot wait from when we change them back to the winter tires. So that's the ride. That would be a negative as far as the car goes. The second negative is going onto a ramp to get onto the highway.
Power.
And that power, it's like it's missing. It's like I want to just zoom, and I just feel like there's this drag.
I think the 2017 A4 sedan has 252 horsepower now. You know, so by today's standards, it's not a lot of power.
Right. And the last thing would probably be the type of gas that would be used in this car.
Premium.
And even to this day, that really annoys me that I have to put that in. It's the only other thing.
To follow two other maintenance things on this car that we had to have done. We had to have the clutch replaced just one time after, and I don't know how many years that was, but it was a number of years ago. And then we had to have the engine mounts replaced on this car, and that was more recent. That was like a couple years ago, and that was probably another $2,000. But other than those two major changes, maintenance changes, the car has been flawless.
Yeah.
Totally reliable, and knock on whatever this is, wood, it'll remain that way, because it's great. It's a great car. There's no need to trade it in.
No, none whatsoever. It's a great car, and believe me, if they sold this car here,
right,
I'd buy one tomorrow.
Right. Well, thank you, Darlene, for sharing your thoughts about the car, and hopefully we'll get you on camera in a future video. See you next time. Thanks, Dar.
Thanks. Bye.
Alright guys, thank you as well for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this review of the 2005 A4 Avant. I realize that this is an old car and that the current version is not sold here in the United States. All those in Europe are lucky, they still get it. But that's part of the point of this video. I really enjoyed this car, and I think there's a place for performance wagons in the United States market. I think they need to bring them back. And with that, I'll sign off here and say safe driving, everyone. Till next time.